We humans are quite the peculiar bunch, aren't we? Desperately searching for meaning in a universe that offers no instruction manual. Like trying to assemble IKEA furniture with the instructions written in hieroglyphics. We're born, we live, we die, and throughout it all, we're plagued by this nagging question. What's the bloody point? Welcome back, philosophical wanderers. Today, we're diving headfirst into the delightfully unsettling world of absurdism, a philosophy that stares into the void of meaninglessness and, rather than recoiling in horror, responds with a sardonic chuckle. The absurdist view isn't about nihilistic despair or religious comfort. It's that awkward middle ground where we acknowledge the universe's indifference while refusing to stop caring anyway. It's like being ghosted by the cosmos, yet continuing to send increasingly desperate text messages. Hello? Is anyone there? Just a sign would be nice. So grab your metaphysical hiking boots. We're about to trek through the philosophical wilderness where meaning is scarce, contradictions abound, and yet somehow joy remains possible, perhaps even inevitable. The term absurd comes from the Latin absurdus, meaning out of tune, and that's precisely what the absurdist philosophers believed about human existence. It's fundamentally disharmonious. We're rational beings with an irrational thirst for meaning in a universe that remains stubbornly silent on the matter. Albert Camus, the philosophical poster boy of absurdism, described this conflict as the confrontation between the human need and the unreasonable silence of the world. It's like showing up to a dinner party only to find an empty house and a note saying, "Make your own bloody dinner." Think about it. We're born without consent, thrust into a world we didn't create, governed by laws we didn't establish, and then expected to make sense of it all before our inevitable demise. It's as if we've been dropped into the middle of a film with no beginning, no discernible plot, and no guarantee of a satisfying conclusion. And yet, we persist in our meaning-making endeavours. We create elaborate myths, religions, political ideologies, and philosophical systems, all in a desperate attempt to convince ourselves that there's rhyme and reason to this cosmic madness. It's rather like decorating a prison cell with motivational posters. The bars remain, but at least the view is marginally improved. The absurd condition, then, emerges from this tension, our yearning for clarity and purpose versus the world's profound indifference to our existential hunger. It's not that life is meaningless per se, it's that meaning isn't handed to us on a cosmic silver platter. We're meaning-seeking missiles in a targetless universe. No wonder we're all a bit off-kilter. If you've ever felt like you're pushing a boulder up a hill only for it to roll back down, forcing you to start again, congratulations. You've experienced the mythological punishment of Sisyphus, and by extension, the perfect metaphor for human existence, according to Camus. In his essay, The Myth of Sisyphus, Camus uses this Greek tale to illustrate the absurdity of life. Sisyphus, condemned by the gods to roll a boulder up a mountain for eternity, only to watch it roll back down, represents all of humanity engaged in seemingly pointless toil. We work, we sleep, we wake, we work again. We chase goals, achieve them, and then set new ones. We build empires that will eventually crumble. We strive for immortality in a universe ruled by entropy. But here's where Camus gets interesting, and a bit cheeky. He concludes his essay with the infamous line, "One must imagine Sisyphus happy." Happy? The poor bloke's stuck in an eternal loop of futility. But Camus insists that in the acknowledgement of absurdity, in the conscious embrace of one's fate, there lies a form of victory. Sisyphus's happiness comes not from escaping his condition, but from owning it. During that brief moment when he watches the boulder tumble down and turns to descend the mountain himself, he is free. Free from illusions, free from false hope, free from the tyranny of meaning itself. It's rather like being stuck in London traffic and suddenly realising you can stop cursing the congestion and instead enjoy the podcast you've been meaning to listen to. The traffic remains, but your relationship to it transforms. Camus suggests that the absurd hero, be it Sisyphus or ourselves, finds freedom not in resolving the absurd, but in living with it, eyes wide open, without resorting to suicide, physical or philosophical, or leaps of faith. It's about facing the absurd head-on, giving it a nod, and perhaps even offering it a cup of tea before carrying on with one's boulder-pushing duties. Liberation through acceptance. So, we find ourselves in this preposterous predicament, desperately craving meaning while inhabiting a universe that offers none inherently. What now? Do we throw our hands up in despair? Do we self-medicate with mindless entertainment and consumption? Do we blindly accept religious or ideological doctrines to fill the void? The absurdist says no to all these options. Instead, they propose a rather radical alternative: embrace the absurdity itself. Embracing the absurd doesn't mean surrendering to nihilism or adopting a nothing matters, so why bother attitude. That would be a misreading of the philosophy and, frankly, a bit of a cop-out. Rather, it means acknowledging the fundamental tension of human existence without trying to resolve it through self-deception or intellectual suicide. It means living in perpetual tension with one foot in our meaning-hungry human nature and the other in the vast indifference of the cosmos. It's a balancing act that's simultaneously maddening and liberating, like trying to do yoga on a tightrope while someone periodically shouts existential questions at you. But in this embrace lies a peculiar form of freedom. When we release ourselves from the desperate quest for cosmically sanctioned purpose, we open ourselves to create meaning on our own terms. We can construct values, purposes, and joys that aren't dependent on universal validation. The absurdist rebellion against meaninglessness doesn't attempt to solve or eliminate the absurd condition. That would be futile. Instead, it acknowledges the condition and then proceeds to live fully despite it, or perhaps because of it. This rebellion takes many forms: artistic creation, political action, scientific inquiry, love, friendship, and simple everyday pleasures. Each act becomes a defiant assertion of human values in the face of cosmic silence. Before we explore how absurdism can actually lead to profound joy rather than despair, I'd like to take a moment to invite you to join our philosophical community here. If you've enjoyed wrestling with these existential questions so far, consider subscribing to the channel. Each week, we tackle another philosophical conundrum with the same blend of depth and irreverence. Hit that subscribe button. Your future self navigating an existential crisis at 3 a.m. will thank you. Now back to finding joy in an indifferent universe. The delicious irony of absurdism is that by abandoning the quest for inherent meaning, we may actually find ourselves more capable of experiencing joy. It's like searching frantically for your glasses only to discover they've been on your head the entire time. Sometimes you need to stop searching to find what you're looking for. When we release ourselves from the burden of cosmic significance, we can engage with life more directly, more authentically. The sunset isn't beautiful because it's part of some grand design. It's beautiful because we perceive it as such. Love isn't meaningful because it fulfills a divine purpose. It's meaningful because we experience it deeply. Our creative endeavours aren't valuable because they'll outlast the heat death of the universe. They're valuable because they matter to us now. This perspective shifts our attention from the distant horizon of ultimate meaning to the immediate landscape of lived experience. It's a move from what does it all mean to what am I experiencing right now? From grand cosmic narratives to the particular, the personal, the present. There's a liberating quality to this shift. When nothing inherently matters, everything is permitted to matter according to our own values and experiences. We are free to assign significance where we choose. It's like being handed a blank canvas rather than a paint-by-numbers kit. The responsibility is greater, but so is the potential for authentic expression. Consider how children approach play. They don't need their games to have cosmic significance or contribute to some grand narrative of meaning. They play for the sheer joy of playing. The rules they create matter intensely within the game, but are happily discarded once playtime ends. There's wisdom in this approach, a wisdom that absurdism seeks to recapture. In embracing the absurd, we might find ourselves developing what philosopher Simon Critchley calls a sense of humour. Not mere comedy, but a deeper recognition of the incongruity between our expectations and reality, between our desires and what the world offers. This humour is not about dismissing the seriousness of life, but about holding that seriousness lightly, recognising its contingency, its fragility, and yes, its absurdity. Joy, in the absurdist framework, isn't about ignoring the void or pretending it isn't there. It's about dancing on the edge of it, cocktail in hand, fully aware of the drop, but choosing to focus on the dance rather than the danger. It's a defiant joy, a rebellion against meaninglessness through the creation of personal meaning. As Thomas Nagel suggests, it's possible to view the human condition not as tragic, but as fundamentally comic. We're like slipping on a banana peel writ large, our pretensions to cosmic importance constantly undercut by the universe's indifference. But if we can laugh at ourselves, at the grand cosmic joke in which we're both audience and punchline, we might find a peculiar kind of contentment, freedom through absurdity. So here we stand, at the crossroads of meaning and meaninglessness, peering into the abyss while simultaneously building sandcastles on its edge. What does the absurdist hero look like in this landscape? The absurd hero acknowledges the futility of seeking inherent meaning, yet continues to create meaning anyway. They recognise the impermanence of all things, yet loves passionately. They know their actions won't echo in eternity, yet acts with integrity nonetheless. They understand that justice isn't written into the fabric of the cosmos, yet fights for it on Earth. It's a position of magnificent contradiction, a rebellion against meaninglessness that never deceives itself about the nature of the rebellion. It's Don Quixote with self-awareness, charging at windmills while fully cognizant they're just windmills, and choosing to charge anyway. Perhaps the most absurd thing of all is that in this strange philosophical position, many have found not despair but liberation, not angst but peace, not resignation but engagement. By relinquishing the demand that the universe provide meaning, we free ourselves to create meaning that's truly our own. As we close this exploration of absurdism, I leave you with a question to ponder. In a universe without inherent meaning, what will you choose to make meaningful? How might embracing the absurd condition change your relationship to your own life, with its inevitable sufferings and joys, its mundane routines and transcendent moments? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Perhaps in our collective grappling with these questions, we might create a temporary island of meaning in the vast ocean of cosmic indifference. Until next time, keep pushing that boulder with a smile on your face. Not because the pushing has inherent meaning, but because you've chosen to find meaning in the push itself. That's the absurdist rebellion. That's the human triumph.